Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to try and kind of stay kind of near the computer, stay away from you, but also for the fix up my audio well for folks who have at home. And I'm going to start by really kind of talking through like the student experience side of things, and then we'll get more into the teacher side. So what we want this to look like for the kid is we want as much as possible for everything. And those of you guys who've already read my session, I'm saying it's like every time to everybody. We want a single point of entry. We want it to be the boys' calendar. So whatever they have to do, whatever you're doing, you can make your own website that has everything you want, but they need to get to it from here. So same thing with our Edpuzzle. So it's not going to be integrated inside of Blackboard. We looked into that and it really was just very limiting. Actually decided not to integrate any of our tools in there because Blackboard, basically you got like half the product and we wanted you to have the whole product and have a lot of control over when it's open, when it's closed, that kind of thing. So, but we want it to just link from here so that the boys, even though they have these other accounts, they're being led there. So they'll help with your like complete Edpuzzle assignment, maybe have more, yeah.
What were you talking about, Brandon? That there's some kind of internal Edpuzzle Blackboard.
So there is a way to try and integrate it, but it's really more just kind of like a linking system. And then what happens is you don't have any control over when it's open and closed. And if you change the date on your Blackboard calendar, then you lose like the data from that you already had from the original assignment. And this just doesn't, it's very cumbersome. And we felt like it would be very frustrating and it would be much simpler to keep them separate. So yeah, it's not a full integration. Like you didn't put the grades in your grade book or anything. Sure. It just basically was this pop-up that lived inside of Blackboard and was tied to your assignment settings. So like it was very cumbersome to try and like let a kid do it late or things like that. So that was why this decision was made. So, but we would still want to feel like it's integrated, if that makes sense. The way to do that is so for the kid, yeah, so we want them, whatever it is, to be able to click to it from their assignment calendar. Because that's one thing feedback we got, stuff too many places. So even if you want to send them elsewhere, they just need to get to it from here. So, and you like name the tool. This says complete Edpuzzle assignment. It might be more specific. It might say like, watch chapter 3.4 lecture on Edpuzzle. Might be pretty more specific. And then so they click there, and then actually made a little video of what that might feel like. They click, it takes them right in from the link.
Most people know that if you try to spin a boiled egg, it'll spin nicely. And when you try to spin a raw egg, it'll be a bit more wobbly.
So it stopped them, and they have this multiple choice question. They have to submit to move on.
But there's a cool trick you can do, where if you spin a raw egg and then you stop it, the raw egg will start spinning again. What's going on? Why does it keep spinning?
Yeah.
So then I have an open-ended question. So I'm asking them to engage with me just like I might in class and saying, make kind of a hypothesis.
Well, it's because it's something pretty important to physics, which is called inertia.
This is just a note. They have to acknowledge it. I'm telling them something. I'm giving them directions.
Inertia is the property that all objects have, which keeps them doing what they're doing.
And it can't.
So when you get the egg spinning, the yolk inside is spinning as well.
Done, even if there's no more
questions. And if you stop it from the outside, if you stop the shell, the yolk keeps spinning inside. So it'll get the egg spinning again without you having to touch it.
This is me recording my own narration for this part of the video because maybe I don't like the way he narrated it or how he explained it, and I want to do basically my own voice dubbing over it.
And then they can see the results. Some of it might be to be graded because there was that short answer kind of thing that I'm going to acknowledge. So it is going to give them feedback right away. This is something that's supposed to be formative. So, in our other tools like EduLast, it turned in that kind of thing. You can say, no feedback, you can't see your score, but this is always going to tell them, which is a good thing. This is us trying to deliver content to them and we want them to learn it. So like if they miss a question, our hope is that they rewatch that segment and try and figure it out and figure out what the right answer is because it's going to prompt them to do that. So, so that's what I was just talking about. So if they miss it, it would tell them right away that was wrong. And then they have this rewatch option. They can also just take the little mouse and move it back as far as they want. We can always go back, can't skip ahead forward. So, and we want that. We want to embed some questions, some things, just like you would in class, like when you cold call people or you know, kind of check for comprehension. You want to put that in so that, so you're making sure they're getting the content and that they're understanding it, and sometimes learning that they need to rewatch because they thought they knew it, but they don't. So the teacher experience then on this end is, I've got my kids who took it, and I can see this guy never even finished watching, and this is all in real time, so you can see it like as they're doing it. You know, I can say when they last watched it, you know, timestamps everything for me, and then I can click over. I've got some things I need to grade on my end, and for this was that question I said, why do you think kids start spinning again? And they kind of were supposed to give like a little hypothesis. I can mark all of them as correct if I want. Like if it's especially a question like that, they probably are just going to give credit for saying something, right? But I also can go through and give individual, you know, number of points. I can also put an individual comment about their response. So then your grade book is going to look like this, where you see, you know, the person and then like the assignment and like and how they did or whatever. So it's not going to throw it in Blackboard. Unfortunately, we're going to have like a little bit of a transfer process. You're just going to make like one screen like half size, the other half size, and just kind of plug in. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. There is this export gradebook thing where you get like a CSV, but Blackboard doesn't give us a way to import it. So you might just like that better to look at, you know, because then you can delete extra columns, especially if you've got a lot of assignments in this gradebook. You might export just so you can delete and have just the column you want. But unfortunately, we are going to have that transfer. Even with the integration, we would have had that transfer. It didn't go into our gradebook. It wasn't a full integration.
I don't know if you heard me voice my display.
I thought, yeah. I thought. I think what I've been told, we have 2 years left in our contract with Blackboard, and then we can look at other products. That's all I know about that. So there are, within Blackboard, there's some preloaded stuff. You can go to this curriculum tab and search. It's not like super comprehensive, but there are some things in there, and you can find, especially there's a lot of Khan Academy stuff where people have already embedded some questions. So it might be worth taking a look at. And then to create one, so from existing video, it has these little tabs, but all of this is actually really just pulling from YouTube. It's just kind of organizing it into sections for you. So if you have a YouTube link, the quickest, easiest thing is just to paste it right there. If you already know what you want, or just search for it up here, like what you're looking for. And this is just going to pull up, you know, tons of videos you can choose from. So you click on the video that you want, and then there's this thing down here. This particular one says 97 video versions. So here's just the pure video. Here's all the Edpuzzles people have made with it. So you can just basically literally just kind of click on that and scroll down, and you can look at some of those people's, because maybe they have one that's great and we're already done here. Or it may just give you some ideas of some good questions. Or you might just be like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing here. So then you would click on edit. Copy and edit. If you edit it, it's also going to copy it. I just want to clarify that. So you may sometimes just be finding things and copying them, just like, hey, throw that in my account, mark that. You just hit copy, copy. Edit means I want to go straight into also putting in questions, assigning that kind of thing. But it's, in addition, going to be copying it into your account. Does that make sense? So you jump into edit, you rename it, you know, save it. Definitely, you know, name it something that's more relevant to you if you need to. And then there's this tab system, which is similar actually how Edpuzzle, and Elastic is set up when those of you have done that or will. So I've got cut voiceover questions to work through. So the first thing to think about is if I want to cut anything. And I just can pull the corners, but I also can chop out of the middle. So I think I actually have a little video of that. So you just tug. And if it's something in the middle, then you move that little playhead over. Add your cut, and then I can just pull some more to get rid of, you know, what I don't want. Now, there's not going to be dead space. It's going to play straight through whatever's blue. So if you cut out something in the middle, there's not going to be like dead air. It's going to splice it together for you, even though it looks chopped up here. So now you can just kind of cut some stuff down. Gives you a lot of flexibility, especially when you're pulling stuff off YouTube. I don't think I've ever found anything that I thought was just absolutely perfect. Exactly how it was. There's always something I wanted to be different, or I wanted to get rid of, or didn't want, you know, you did a lot of that like fast forwarding to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You don't have to do that. You can just chop it out. You also have that voiceover option, basically dubbing, which you heard me on my little example video. You click on voiceover, click start recording. And then, you know, you just do your little thing and it's going to show you visually where you're placing it. And then you can preview it. And if you decide that you don't like it, you could always just, you know, you can just hear it in isolation, or you can play it down the video to watch how it syncs up the video. You can delete it if you want to start over, you don't like it. You have all that. Then for questions, we've got multiple choice, obviously, and I'm gonna get to that. So when you're putting in a multiple choice question, you just find your spot, and you don't have to sit through. You can just drag your playhead. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to sit through 10 minutes of this video now. You can find it, and then you would just pause it. You grab that question, you type in everything that you need, and that green check mark is going to be, you know, this is supposed to be correct, so that it will auto-grade the multiple choice for you. And you can add, you know, more options or get rid of them. And when you save it, it popped up like this little teardrop thing here. So you visually are seeing what it is, and you can move it. So when you play through and if you feel like it's a little off, like it clipped someone's words, it cut off, you don't have to redo it. You can just move it. You can really drag it with your mouse.
So when you make the question and you're putting it in the video, you're not looking at the video?
Yeah, so you play it, and then so you're watching it, and then you basically just when you watch it, and then when you want this spot, you're like, ooh, this is where I want a question, you just hit pause. Okay. And then you drag it down. Okay. And then I think I cut this video off a little short, actually. So here's our multiple choice question. And then now I'm going to add the open-ended question. So let's click on it. And notice you can add some extra things here, like a picture or a link or whatnot, if you needed to. Conclusion. And then you can just drag it forward. Like, you don't have to sit through, you just kind of find your spot. And then, so for my note, this is something that they have to acknowledge, but they don't have to input an answer. So it's just input from you, or maybe a direction, like put this in your notes. But also you can record a little voice comment here that they have to listen to, but it's not dubbing over. So in my example, you know, the video kept running. This is the video stops, and they hear from you. You know, wake up, whatever you want to say, right? I would encourage you to play with that. Like, they like to hear your voice. If it's someone else's video, throwing in your own 2 cents or spin or clarification, that's a way that you can kind of enrich what's there with your own teaching. So then when you're done putting in any questions that you want, you click on finish. And next, to get it to your kids, you would click on assign. And just choose your class, which, you know, it can be multiple sections you can assign it to. And but you might want to do one at a time if you have like different due dates and stuff. It might be easier that way. So you can decide that you can just want to assign it to an individual student in that class too, or certain students in the class, which is kind of nice. And then you decide, you know, the start and due date. You can also leave it open with no due date if you want, and you'll still get like a timestamp, like you'll still know they did it late. Definitely the message to the kids and what we want to communicate to everyone is the due date is whatever's on their Blackboard assignment counter. Because the due date here might just be more about like access. Because if you put June 15th, 1:59, no one can do it after that. Like, you could change it. But if you do have a kid who is absent or whatnot, like, you might want to leave it open. But we just have to all be really clear and consistent about, you know, the due date is what's in your calendar.
The one thing that we could have trouble with that though is what if you're assigning to different periods and you need different days, now those due dates are going to be different for different.
So I would assign just one at one class period, get your dates and times right, and then assign that to the next one. Because if you do multiple, then it's gonna, I think, you know, in my little demo, I only have one class. Maybe if we have more sections, it could have more options, but something I should test out and see. Because it may actually let me do per section. But when I was testing it, I only put one class in, so I'll play with that and see. But you can always just change it too. You can just always go in and change the date and time. Now some people can get back in, so it's not like it's for everything. It would have been with the Blackboard integration though. That's why we don't want to do it. And then they prevent skipping. I mean, you're always going to want that, I think. But there might be a situation where you don't do that, or maybe you have some stuff thrown up for them to review, and you wanted them to be able to skip because they've already done it. It's just kind of a resource. You might want to put that on. And there's a closed captioning option. I don't know how great that works, but it's there. So then you could choose later if you're like, I just want to save these settings, but I'm not actually ready to do it yet, I guess. And then just click assign though, if you're ready. And then I want to talk about public links. So public links, not the link you want to send to kids. Public links is, I want to send this to a colleague. I'm sending this to parents somewhere, and like who doesn't have an account. It's just a way to share it without anyone having to log into anything. But that also means it's not going to track anything. That's not the link you want to send your kids. You want them logged in. So the public link, there could be a situation that especially, it might be great to send something to parents because they can't get into a lot of these things where kids get content. So if you wanted to make a little video to send to parents, that would be a good way to share it with them. So for Blackboard, when you get back into like the interface, so once you've hit assign everything, you're going to see here, and it's showing you, your students are in the class and what they've done. There's the share assignment option. So you click on share assignment. That's the link that we want. It's called the assignment link. So that's going to provide your student with direct access to the quiz. Now they also can just log into Edpuzzle and like go to your class and find it as well. We just really want to try and make it smooth, as least amount of friction as possible. So we want to put that link into our Blackboard assignment because it's going to take them straight to it. There's no looking around for it. So remember, mention that tool, whatever it is, even if it's like lesson 5.6 lecture, mention in Edpuzzle, there's lots of clarity for them about where this is going to be. And then you just throw that link in so that they can go straight there. The more we do that, hopefully the less we have to chase kids and the less frustrated hopefully they get. And then for them, like I showed you at the beginning, it's just clicks and it takes me right in. You might have to sign in, probably after they do it one time, that's going to be saved in their browser and they just pop right in. So if you decide, though, one little kind of hiccup, if you decide you want to change your video, so you've assigned it to everybody and whatnot, and you want to make some changes, it doesn't let you edit anymore once it's assigned. You have to duplicate it and then make your changes. So it'll save what's there and then make your changes and like assign again, like unassign the other one. Kind of annoying, but that's just something I want to point out to y'all. And then another thing I want to talk about is uploading your own video. So a lot of us, use Loom videos and Screencast-O-Matic and whatnot, made our own content, which is fabulous. Like and especially if you took the time to make your own content, you really want to know that they watched it, right? That was a point of frustration this spring. So you go to, under my content, you just click add content, upload a video, and you just put it in there. So some of us weren't so sure about how to get our video though off of Loom. We just use that share link, but right below your Loom videos, there's this download icon. You can get the actual video file so that you can put it into Edpuzzle. Same thing with Screencast-O-Matic. If any of you guys use that, there's some options. Just download the MP4 and then you just upload it into Edpuzzle. So Edpuzzle is basically kind of hosting it for you as well. It's a way to host videos. Then as far as organizing goes, you can make folders, which is helpful to organize your materials. You just put a little, when you're looking at your content, this will be like all your little Edpuzzles. You put a little check mark and you get all these options down here, copying it, deleting it, moving to a folder. You can share Edpuzzles. We can see actually, like you can search our school's content. So if you, are co-teaching or someone has another section and you want to use some stuff, share some stuff, you can get to it here. And then, okay, so now we're going to talk about getting kids into your class. So for Edpuzzle, I'm actually going to be creating all those accounts, and I'm actually going to have every kid in the class. One reason being we're going to push out tech support videos that way, and we're going to know if they watch them or not. Like they're going to get orientation videos on all of these tools, and things may come up throughout the year where we want to push it out to them. So I'll have all those accounts. So I'll be like in a grade level class, but then they also have to enroll into your class. So the way they do that is you just give them a little code. So if you click on your class, you get a class code. It's just some random letters. If you click on invite students, all that really happens is it like makes it really big for you. You can copy a link or share via email, just gonna open your email, but really all you need is this. This is all you need. And then the kids in their account, they just click join class, paste that in, and they're in. And then you're in their class. And that's it. You also have a ton of access, which is really nice, to their account. So you can see their username in case they were to ever forget it. You can also reset their passwords. I can do this too, because remember, they're all going to be in my account. So if we get help tickets, help desk, then I can reset passwords and whatnot. But you as a teacher also can reset passwords and can look up their username should they have confusion about what it is. So that's that. Some other features I want you to know about that might be helpful is there's a student project option. If you go to add content, student project, this is assigning kids to make an Edpuzzle. So if I click on that, I called it final project. The goal of the project, I put review for exam. My instructions are create a video that demonstrates your assigned concept, embed questions in the video to assess how well your peers understand it. So that kind of classic, like we're going to divide and conquer. Everybody, you guys are chapter 1, you're chapter 2, you're chapter 3, and maybe they make a PowerPoint or they have to come to the game. I was kind of going with that idea, but saying, let's make an Edpuzzle. So maybe they have to have a video. They also have to embed those questions in it, just the way you would to deliver your content. So you could send that, you could assign that to them, and then it's all going to be kind of organized in their account really clearly, like prompting them to make an Edpuzzle and then organized for you on your grading end. There's also something called Going Guan. This is for when you're in person. So basically, you project your video like I'm projecting for the whole class, and then students are answering the questions on their device. So it could be a phone, could be a computer, and then, and so basically you are pacing it. So when they click, when all your students are ready, you click the start button, the video's playing, and then it'll stop. It'll be like, everybody answer the question now. Now, okay, we're playing. Everybody answer the question. So it's kind of like clickers or, something like that. So you have kind of that capability to do that. And then you can kind of, and then you can share the feedback. Like, here's how we did on that question. All right, let's keep going, that kind of thing. So that's just an option that it has. So I have a few resources that I'll be sending your way. Or actually, a lot of it I actually ended up putting in the handout. Does everyone get the handout? So they're just sort of like step sheets for, And there's Edpuzzle has like the whole, teacher interface thing, but really the tool's pretty simple, I think. It's pretty straightforward. And the best part is it adds a lot of accountability that didn't have in the spring, for knowing, if our kids watched it, and also having a sense of how, what they're getting out of it. Because if your whole class is missing all these questions you put in there, then that, good feedback to have. So what I want to do right now is practice. I want us to actually make an Edpuzzle. Before we do that, we need to make a class. I want you guys to be logged in, and you've got these step sheets I gave you. They're not any different from what I'm about to do up here. It's more for you as like take a takeaway for when you're doing this on your own later. But you want to be in your account and click My Classes. And then you're going to want to click on Add New Class. And this can be, you can always delete this later, or you can put, what you really know you might have. Do make sure that you make different classes for different sections, because when you get to that piece of transferring grades to your gradebook, you want it to match your gradebook, right? You don't want 3 classes lumped together in alphabetical order. You want it to match your gradebook. So make sure that you do make a section for each. So you click on Add New Class and choose Create a New Class as your option, if you do not have Google Classroom. And this is on your step sheet too. So if I start to move a little fast, you've got it on your handout. You just have to name your class. Make sure you choose Classic. Open is for like, you basically never want open. It's for like younger kids and kiosks and things that you can't track as well. We want the tracking. That's why we have this product. You want Classic. And then just click Create Class. Comes up if you're ready to move on. Okay. And then now we have a class, maybe a couple, and now we want to click on content up here on the top to actually make an Edpuzzle that I give to that class. And to add your own video, here's where you would go. You could go My Content, Add Content, Upload a Video, or you could just pop into, these things here. So for purposes of now, unless you have something you kind of brought that you really want to work with, you might just quickly grab, something off of these channels or search something on YouTube, and you just click the video you want. Give you all a second. Take something out. So then when you've selected that video, remember, copy means it's just going to go into my content. This is, hey, I'm just saving this because it looks cool and I might use it sometime. Edit is I'm copying it also, but I'm going to go ahead and edit it and work with it. You want to go ahead and click on edit?
Do we click on copy first?
Just edit. So edit will do both, basically. So copy means like I'm just grabbing this for later. Edit's like I'm grabbing this and I'm doing something with it. And then remember, you've got your 3 tabs. I want you guys to play with making some cuts on your video. Do a little voiceover if you want, you don't have to, but make sure you kind of understand how that works. And then adding some questions to your video. And then practicing assigning it to a class, so kind of playing with those settings. And I'm gonna drink water, and then I'll circulate a little bit.